Hello, my name is Xander, and I'd like to welcome you to my practicum for Practice Yoga Austin's 300-hour yoga teacher training. For this project, I first wanted to preface what I was working on through some of the training that I did this year. Some important moments that kind of led into this project were, the first was shooting my audition tape. Hello, my name is Xander Nunley, and this is my audition tape for Practice Yoga Austin. Place your palms on your knees, or your choice to have them flipped up. In my mind, it was, part of me felt like it was a scary thing, like how long should it be? Does it need to be an hour-long practice or this? And I eventually just settled on doing a 10-minute video that kind of just showcased my style and way of teaching in that moment. And that was important to get on this list and begin subbing. So just beginning to start my teaching journey in public. Thank you for practicing with me today. I know it was a short one for this demo, but I'm going to leave it at that. Oh man. And kind of from that moment, it was a lot of classes, especially in the beginning, not only my own, but subbing really high volume amount of classes to the point where it wasn't really a possibility to always create an exact lesson plan. Sometimes it would be last minute subs. My teaching adapted from that. I was able to teach to bigger crowds. And then I started to be a little bit more loose with it. I started to do one-page kind of write-ups for my practices, where I might write like, here's an intention, or here's a quote that I really like. Maybe do some drawings of poses that I'd like to hit on. And other than that, just kind of let it flow. I found that when I would teach, using no music was the way that I wanted to go. I was inspired by teachers like Marnie or Ciara, also Whitney. They all were not teaching with music. For people to be able to feel their own emotions and not kind of be sucked into the emotion of the music and really feel what they're feeling, as well as hear the community breath around them. So taking these classes, engaging with the teachers afterwards, and it felt like because I was in training that this was an important thing to do, to not only teach a lot, to take a lot of classes, engage with the teachers afterwards, ask them questions, make notes. And I think that helped me develop as a teacher. Another important piece was audio recording my classes. And so I would always get an okay from the students, but I'd put on a lav mic like I'm wearing here and just record the class. And afterwards I would not only listen to it, maybe if I'm just sitting there or doing some work that didn't require me to be listening to something, I'd throw it on, and then I would take portions of the class or listen, how did this sound? Even like voice to text, so I could see like what words was I using. But the biggest piece was probably in this last 4 weeks from Sean's weekend. It just kind of stood out to me as like, be more playful with it. Kind of bring some humor, some lightness. I think I could feel where it's more conversational, even from the project that I'm going to present. And so I'm finding now it's like a feedback loop. And I've had teachers, when I've talked to people about this, they're like, whoa, that's kind of scary to be doing that. And yeah, it can to some degree, but I think my approach with whether it's the art that I make or teaching, it's like nothing is permanent. You don't have to be too hard on yourself. And a lot of classes, it's really, here's the idea, just kind of holding this idea, going in with the intention of dropping in, being of service, and just letting that take you, and like with the intention of full presence. And from there, it's like you've taken enough classes, you've seen enough, you've done the training where it's like it comes through and you teach from a pure place, and it feels so right to be able to offer that. And I think it's been a blessing to be able to teach now 4 regular classes a week that are across the board different. I'm teaching vinyasa, alignment, breathwork and meditation class, and a mindfulness class. All of these pieces kind of push me to think in different ways for each of these classes. They're all wildly different and draw different studentship. And so I think while I've been in training, it's been a blessing to be able to teach to these different styles and develop in this way. For my practicum, I chose to focus on digital yoga. And so this was specifically 2 30-day yoga journeys that I recorded, one here in Austin and then one in France. Another aspect of this was a yoga therapy platform build that I did for a company called Viosomatic.
Hello, welcome to Viosomatic. Everyone has a nervous system. Everyone has a stress response. Most of us know what it feels like to be stuck in a stress response, looping through the same emotions, same patterns of behavior, same thoughts. Stress is kinetic. It's meant to move us into action.
And I shot their coursework and I built out promotional materials. And going through this process alone really showed me what was possible. It kind of gave me the idea, like, yeah, you can offer this, you could do this type of work as well, and that your reach can go beyond just who shows up to the studio. So that was important work, not only being there to shoot, to kind of see what it took to produce these materials, and just made me think, like, what are useful things that people could be using, you know, who may not have access to a studio. So for my practicum with these 2 30-day yoga journeys, the first yoga journey that I shot was for the month of December 2023, and it was called Start Here. Hello, my name is Xander Nunley, and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, as well as to this 30-day yoga journey called Start Here. Over the next 30 days, we'll work together to end the year and lead into the following by grounding, taking time for mindful movements to truly start from this moment and move forward. My intention with it was to just release a video every day for 30 days of a practice. They were very short practices, some of them only a few minutes long, up to maybe maximum of 15 minutes. It was so beneficial to think in this way because I didn't really start practicing yoga beyond these type of videos online or do really any studio classes until the beginning of 2022. So I was thinking of people who may be curious about yoga, looking for something that they could do at home if they were worried about, you know, how they may look. And also an important piece to me, I had seen some yoga videos where it was like, oh, you need to have blocks. If you don't have them, go out and buy them. If you don't have this. And it just kind of made me feel like this is this is like the commercialism of yoga. This is like consumerism, just grabbing yoga, when you don't need a mat. You don't need any blocks. You don't need any props. Just show up. It'll be a few minutes. And my intention really was just show up consistently over time. It could be the easiest practice every day. So yeah, it was important for me to be able to teach to people from a place of you could be anywhere, you could step outside. And some of these practices weren't even what you would expect for yoga. There was like just walking in the woods. Some of them I was hugging a tree and just breathing, taking some breaths, because when I first started meditating or kind of getting interested, it was like all I really could handle was like 6 breaths. And it's a practice that I still continue to do before a meal. But that's all I could really do. And so just putting a video out there of like, here's your yoga for today. Just take a few breaths here, intentional, feel all the way in, all the way out. What I learned from Start Here, and it went in line with recording the classes, was just seeing myself on video, how I'm engaging with the camera. I even look back at it now, only, a short time after, and it's like, okay, more personality, more engagement with the viewer? How can I, keep it relatable, personable, reach, a wider audience of people and make it more digestible, and kind of just go beyond the asana. Another challenge I think that arose from this shorter practices is like, how do you get to certain postures when you only have limited time, like limited time to warm up, limited time to center? Yeah, I think that's still a piece that is on my mind of how can you offer something that fits into people's busy schedule, but you're able to safely get into postures with a limited time frame. So the second project that I worked on was called Emerge, and this was for January 2024. Hello, my name is Xander, and I'd like to personally invite you to Emerge, a 30-day yoga journey starting January 1st. These practices will include mindful movements, breathing exercises, and meditation. By following along, you'll begin to feel deeper stillness and clarity as you move forward into your year. This project was special to me because I had learned so much from Start Here and just going through that process. I ended up going inside for this project. The practices were a little bit longer, and so I was like, okay, these need to have a little bit more of a through line, like what am I trying to do? And with Emerge, really felt like I was getting some interesting practices together, stepping into my own style with these shorter practices. And then another piece was bringing in meditation. I teach meditation and breath work at Third Eye. And so that process of even teaching that class was such a challenge in the beginning. It's like, how am I gonna just have people breathe for an hour? It was a welcome challenge to be able to teach that. It kind of prepared me for this Emerge journey. How Emerge was different was the practices were a little bit longer. I had the meditation, and the meditations began to string together. There was kind of a storyline, some visualization that came along with it. Kind of the same thing as Start Here, just finishing these projects felt so good, just putting the reps in. It kind of made me feel like, well, now I have something to show these digital assets of here's 2 30-day yoga journeys that I have offered. And in the same line, I had offered, kind of leading into this, some one-off videos. I went to Costa Rica with Eva and shot some practices on the beach. And now as I'm preparing to move from Austin, and just reflecting back on my time here with the 200 and 300, I'm just grateful that I created the space for this. The training doesn't really end here. How curious are you going to be? And how are you going to continue to practice and to take classes and to show up? And so for me, I think with these projects, I've seen that this is something I'm interested in, and I'm okay with maybe not even teaching in a studio and just offering these type of online classes and more pre-recorded classes and workshops and trainings. Through this year, I've gone to a lot of teachers' classes when it was their first time teaching, maybe first public class or offering in the park. And that's important to me because I think it's underestimated how much, when you're first getting that snowball rolling, the support of someone or someone coming out, if no one shows up to your class. And I've been to recent 200-hour graduates classes either in studios or elsewhere where I may have been the only person there. Being able to work with 200-hour teachers who maybe are interested in teaching in a studio or elsewhere, and how they can prepare themselves to create demo reels, maybe hone their cueing, their way of teaching, and build some confidence to be able to offer something. In closing, I really just want to say how thankful I am for this experience. It has been transformative. And when I think about who I was before and some of my motivations, my lifestyle. It feels vastly different. It's helped me to get in line with who I truly want to be and the art that I want to create and bring forth into the world. Thank you to everyone for showing up, and for us to have supported each other through this process. I think is really beautiful. I'm grateful to everyone, to all the teachers, to the early mornings, to the late nights in the studio. Like, everything really poured into this training. And I think it is one of those, like, you get out what you put in. And when I look back at the experience I had here with Practice Yoga Austin's 200 and 300 and the caliber of teachers that teach here, this has been, an important period of my life, and I'm just really grateful to be sharing it with all of you. So thank you, and here's to our graduation, to finishing out. It's kind of unbelievable, and I just have to say that I'm really proud of everyone for taking the time to go on this year-long journey that we have just now completed. I'm looking forward to what the future holds for all of us.